besides us, I feel like Joey Badass popped off the year too. New York City's looking all right in the first 2 days. We got the smoke for everyone. I mean, there's some internal beef with Elliot, Cam, and Mace, but we'll squash that.
Yeah,
New York, we got to stick together.
Yeah, we got to stick together, man.
We're holding it down 2 days in, and Joey Badass is holding it down 2 days in. He dropped, I won't call it a freestyle, but a record, The Ruler's Back. He wanted to show us his new property, and I forgot how much money that Joey Badass gets. It's like $250,000 just for a fucking festival.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes like the quote unquote non-popular rappers, perception-wise, I like when they remind everyone that they have way more fucking money than the people they think are popular.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta let them know, because you're not as, on the timeline as much, and people faces as much. People think that you're not having success and you're not making money because, you're just not quote unquote in mainstream. Which I think Joey Badass is mainstream. I don't think you can be on a major show like, Raising Kanan and not be considered
But
mainstream.
also his cult-like following that he has with his music when he tours, especially overseas. I like, again, I've never been the stunt money guy, but when these types of guys do it, I think it's necessary to remind the rest of the timeline that it's okay to be the quote-unquote underground guy and still make more money than everyone.
Still very comfortable.
I don't even want to go back to the Joey Badass Troy Ave situation, but that was the last time I remember Joey Badass reminding all of us that he had way more money than everyone else. When Troy's like, "Oh, you guys not in the club, you're not doing this." Like, bro, I just sold out Copenhagen for $250,000 5 times.
Life
you do the
is
fucking
good.
math.
Life is good.
But he put this out, and it had the post-2024 Kendrick OVO communities back talking. I know they were a little depressed that we all thought we were going to go into 2025 leaving that battle behind us, but they said, oh no, we're going to pick and choose 3 words from Joey Badass and make this a Kendrick Lamar diss. So beef is back on.
Is that what they're doing?
So it's a great freestyle, by the way. He starts out what would be second verse, too much West Coast dick licking, which this is a time where I hate, you can put that photo away. This is a time where I hate, which we realized in the Kendrick and Drake battle. The younger fans that they just weren't around. It's not their fault. They have no idea what certain references mean. So the younger crowd that just got into hip hop and just got into rap beefs this year thought Joey Badass really said too much West Coast dick licking, not knowing that that's a J reference from 22 Twos when there was the Bad Boy Death Row beef. Right. And he was like, yo, Chronic, Doggy Style, Pac, too much West Coast dick licking. New York needs to say something. I think that's a very appropriate reference in the year that just happened. We just came on here last episode and said LA even won the fucking MLS championship. LA had a fucking year in 2024. I think it's a very Brooklyn move to say, too much West Coast dick licking, I'm here to rap in 2025. I didn't take it as a diss. I just thought it was a clever way to put out a record to start the year when you're about to roll out more music.
I don't think people understand what disses are anymore.
They don't.
I think that people hear anything, as soon as you mention a specific coast or artist, like automatically it's, oh, that's a shot. Or they throwing, they dissing each other. And it's like, well, sometimes, yes, that is the case. I just think that people need to get back to what a diss is, though. Just because somebody says your name and, mentions where a city where, people are from doesn't mean that it's a shot or it's a diss.
And what I didn't like, it's of course the younger kids in the communities on Twitter don't get that. It was Daylight, shout out Daylight, friend of the show. He had put something up on IG that's not worth replying to. And then a bunch of guys that were featured on GNX were saying things like, that's too light, you gotta come harder than that. It's like, now you guys know what that reference is to. That's not a diss.
Now, did somebody
it's not a diss.
Did somebody from the West Coast mention Joey Badass's name though? In a record somewhere?
Not that
we might have missed that.
Not that I'm aware of.
Because his next bar after that was, I'm hearing niggas throwing rocks, really ain't shit sticking. So
okay, but that's also in reference for the rest of the verse. We did just see, and I have no information about it, of that altercation that Joey Badass had in that store. I think he was referencing more stuff in regards to that situation than anything else. But like some rappers have 2 bars that just get you to the next thing that have nothing to do with what they're really talking about. But also, I don't think Joey Badass is scared of any type of back and forth rapping in 2025 whatsoever. So it could have been one of those. It wasn't a diss, but if you guys took it that way, let's go.
Yeah, but I'm not. I don't like things like that. I don't like for rap beefs to start by it wasn't a diss, but if you want to.
But that's usually how they all start. No, outside of ones that come from street shit or direct with fucking the same girl.
Okay.
Like even there's been so many different reasons of how the Jay and Nas thing really started, but even with Jay saying etched your name out, like certain things that are not direct, that could be anything, start to add up. I think they all kind of start from shit like this. First person shooter started out. Well, yeah, it did. But there were so many years of back and forth between Drake and Kendrick at that point that I think just solidified. All right, this is what it is. But this Joey Badass bar, I think plenty of rap beef start this way.
I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see what rap beef, if any, comes of this though. Because I feel like that's just whoever responds and jumps out there. It's just like, you looking to get into a beef.
I agree. Yeah,
that's like the dude when the comedian say you out there skating, black guys be playing hockey with no mask on. They just out there skating looking for beef. Like that's what that is. Yeah, like you just out here to fight, fam. You don't even want to you just out here looking to get into a battle with somebody. But shout out to Joey Badass. I thought he did a good job on this. And every time I hear Joey rap, I just laughed that Bow Wow inspired him to rap. Like nothing about the way Joey Badass raps.
Same era. Beware the Dog was one of my favorites as a kid.
I just can't. That is so wild to me. But
people also said I got Murals in My City fucking nomination. This is for every time they left me out the conversation. That they said was a diss towards Kendrick, which just because Whacked Out Murals is his intro, I think that's a fucking. I think that's a reach.
That's a reach, man.
Then Demaris, I sent you a clip, of course. Twitter, because they can't do Drake and Kendrick right now, have to find any fucking way. The dance of Joey in his driveway and then Kendrick on stage one time out of the 1,000 performances he's done. They were dancing alike, and that was a diss to Kendrick.
Yeah, that's just...
Well, I could see them now. That's a correlation to something.
Really? That just gives like...
I mean, it's Drake did that dance, and obviously Kendrick did it mocking Drake, and now Joey is doing it, I guess,
Ain't that the used to call me on my cell phone dance?
Yeah, he did that in Hotline Bling video. Yeah.
Some hilarious dance moves in that entire thing. But maybe that's like how Joey dances. Maybe that's like some Flatbush West Indian shit that we're just not on.
It could be. You listen. I'm 2025. I'm not creating no beefs. It could be. It could be. You could be right.
The other line that got conversation going, thank God that wasn't really Kendrick related or beef related, was Joey saying that he's the clear heir apparent to the New York throne, which when we were having that funny conversation about J. Cole being from New York that everyone for some reason took seriously, because you can't have any fun in podcasting anymore. Everything you say has to be dead fucking serious.
Annoying.
When we were joking about J. Cole being from Queens and being the king of New York, we were saying that because it's very unclear on who that king could be. I feel Joey on this, but kind of by default. Like, I don't know if it's really a stat. I think Joey's extremely talented and very much could be the king of New York. I can't wait for his album this year. I think he's going, Joey, he came out, he's 14. What is Joey now, 21? Joey Badass has been in the game for 10 years. He's 20.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to see the second half of his career. Establish himself as an actor, but I very much think he's going to take this music shit even more serious than before.
But why is everybody... Why
29.
What
is
this,
crazy.
What is this King of New York thing, though? Like, what... King,
you and your family started it.
The King of New York is still Jay-Z.
I agree with you.
Like, why are we acting like I just don't understand it. Listen, rappers can say they get it off, but we know who the king of New York is.
But that's why he said
the
heir, like the apparent heir. Like, not I'm the king of New York, but I'm obviously who's next. Like, I'm inheriting the crown.
But I think that's the problem that you say, we're saying Jay-Z is the king. Because in any other region of the country, Snoop is not the king of the West Coast.
Yeah,
Kendrick is now that.
Snoop also was on stage calling Kendrick the new king of the West Coast.
Fair.
Nobody has ever, Jay-Z has not went on stage and crowned anybody from New York the new king of New York.
I don't think people would say that Andre 3000 or even currently T.I. would be the king of Atlanta. There's a bunch of other acts that are younger that you could say Future is the king of Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, at one point you could have said Thug is the king of Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
That's an issue to me that we're saying right now, and everyone agreed in the room when you said it, Jay-Z is the king of New York. Jay-Z's not active. He should not be the king of New York.
But I think the reason for that is that we don't, like all those other
Nicki's
places,
active. Why don't we say that? Sorry to cut you off.
I'm with that.
I'm not mad at that.
I'm not mad at the Queen of New York. Yeah.
But a lot of people in New York don't agree with Nicki's actions as far as what she does outside of the studio.
Oh, if we're going to do that, then we can run a list on all of these niggas.
We're
talking about away from the music and away from the studio.
I'm not even talking about being a good or bad person. I'm just talking about, Nicki gets a lot of slack for a lot of things that people deem as corny. So,
yeah, and everybody's corny
is the opposite, but not in New York. In New York, you're not allowed to be corny. Other places, you're allowed to be corny. In New York, you're not allowed to be corny.
Sometimes that comes across corny.
I mean,
I can objectively say a lot of that super cool New York shit, if you don't do it correctly, you come off super, super fucking corny.
For sure.